Good evening, little birds. Welcome to the library. Tonight's true tale takes us far from candlelit studies and crumbling manners to the harsh deserts of the American Southwest in the late 19th century. A land of wide horizons and unforgiving heat. A land shaped by expansion, survival, and the uneasy meeting of cultures. I'm Caspian Crow, and this is the true tale of the Red Ghost of Arizona. In the year 1883, in the Arizona Territory, something strange began to move across the desert. The first reports came from a homestead near Eagle Creek. Two women were alone with their children, while the men were away tending sheep. It was an ordinary day until the dogs began to bark. One of the women stepped outside to fetch water. Moments later, the other looked out the window and saw something she would never forget. She later described it as a massive red creature, towering and unnatural, and on its back, so she claimed, was the devil. She heard screams, but was so frightened she never left the house. When the men returned, they found her praying ceaselessly. When she finally told them what had happened, they immediately went back out to search for her. But they didn't have to go far. They found the missing woman nearby, trampled to death. An investigation was launched, but no clear cause could be determined. The official ruling, recorded in the Mojave County Minor, was simply death in some manner unknown. In the days that followed, other sightings began to surface. Prospectors spoke of a towering animal that crushed their camp in the night. Ranchers reported glimpses of a strange red beast moving across the plains. Tracks were found, tufts of red hair. From there, stories began to spread. Some claimed the creature could vanish into thin air, while others swore it could not be harmed. It was given a name, the Red Ghost. But not all who saw this red ghost believed it to be supernatural. A rancher named Cyrus Hamblin encountered the creature near Salt River and recognized what others could not. It was a camel. Camels were unusual in Arizona, but not entirely unknown. In the decades prior, the United States had experimented with using camels as pack animals in the desert, importing them for military use before ultimately abandoning the effort. Some of those animals had escaped into the wild. But Hamblin's account contained a detail that turned curiosity into horror. Strapped to the camel's back was something else. He believed it was a human body. Weeks later, another group of prospectors confirmed it. When the creature fled from their gunfire, something fell from its back. When they approached, they found a human skull, still bearing scraps of hair and decomposed flesh. The stories were no longer rumors. There was indeed a camel wandering the desert, and at some point, it had carried a dead man. For years, the Red Ghost continued to appear. It moved across vast distances, seen here one month and dozens of miles away the next. Always alone, always elusive. Those who encountered it described the same unsettling details: the red coat, the towering frame, and the remnants of leather straps still bound to its body. Straps that had once held something or someone in place. Nearly a decade after the first sightings, the story finally reached its end. A man named Mizu Hastings discovered the creature in his garden near Eagle Creek. And this time, there was no escape. He shot the animal and brought it down. When the body was examined, the evidence was unmistakable. The camel still bore the harness, bound so tightly that in some places it cut into the poor creature's flesh. But the corpse that had once been was long gone. And so, the final mystery remained. Who was the man? How had he come to be bound to the back of that animal? Some believed he had tied himself there in desperation, hoping the camel might lead him to water in the desert. But investigators dismissed this idea. The bindings were too complex, too secure. The man could not have tied himself in that way. Which leaves a more troublesome possibility. That someone else had placed him there, whether as an act of cruelty, revenge, or something stranger still, was never determined. The Red Ghost was no spirit, no demon, no supernatural force. It was something far more real and perhaps far more unsettling. An animal, abandoned and mistreated, carrying the remnants of a human story that was never fully told. Even after its death, sightings of wild camels continued in the American Southwest for years. Strange shapes moving across the desert horizon, echoes of a failed experiment and the lives it left behind. Like many tales of the frontier, the legend of the Red Ghost exists at the intersection of truth and myth. A story shaped by fear, isolation, and the vast, uncaring landscape of the desert. Thank you for joining me in the library, little birds. I'm Caspian Crow, and I bid you good reading.